School is firmly back in session. We're getting a closer look at how things are going with the Education Minister, Everett Hindley. Everett, thank you so much for doing this. We got limited time. I want to start with childcare spaces before we get into back to school. Are we any closer to signing an agreement with the federal government?
Well, we remain ready and willing to negotiate the extension of that agreement. You know, it was about 3 weeks ago in Regina. I was there doing an announcement at Sask Poly to announce an additional 540 spaces across Saskatchewan. And the Secretary of State for Saskatchewan, Mr. Buckley Belanger, was there on behalf of the federal government. And I had a conversation with him, and we had discussions about advancing this. You know, I was encouraged by Mr. Belanger's comments that he fully expects that the federal government, the province, be able to negotiate a deal here before the end of the year, I think is what he said. So I continue to reach out through my office to the federal minister, and we're hopeful we can get that agreement signed.
We'll wait on that. In the meantime, back to school, as we mentioned off the top, is firmly underway. How did back to school go from a ministry standpoint?
Yeah, it's always a very exciting time of the year, I think, for us, of course, in the Ministry of Education, but I think for families, for students, for parents and teachers right across Saskatchewan. You know, we want to ensure that we're giving Saskatchewan students their best start. It's why we're making record investments into the education system, trying to address that, the growing enrollments that we're seeing in our province. And we'll see the numbers come in at the end of September to see where things stand this year. But enrollment's been growing year after year after year here in Saskatchewan. And we're trying to support that with more teachers, more EAs, more support staff in the classroom, but more classrooms as well, focusing on funding for improved K-3 literacy, more specialized support classrooms, provide that additional help for kids that need it. But I think it's an exciting time for people right across Saskatchewan.
More classrooms. You've got more communities coming. You're going to need more schools. Coopertown is just announced for Regina. 36,000 people they're saying are going to be home to there. East Regina, where I am, they say they need a high school. Similar stories across the province in PA, Saskatoon, Weyburn, you name it. They all need new schools. Are we any closer?
For sure, yeah, and you know we've built over I think 70 some schools in this province since we've had the honor of forming government. We currently have about 21 different new school projects, either in construction or various stages of development right now, planning and design. And there's always a list of not just what do we have, for example, for older schools, whether they're in Regina or Saskatoon or in our rural areas of this province, and trying to make sure that we're supporting those because they eventually will reach end of life. But how do we address those pressures, but also with, as you mentioned, Daryl, the pressures of growing communities. So we're working very hard with the ministry team, with school divisions, school boards to try to identify those areas as best we can and to provide dollars when we're able to make sure that we're continuing to build new schools and also add relocatables to those schools that are facing some pressures today.
Just how hard is it? Like you think from a person who doesn't know anything about the process, we just sit there and say we need a school in East Regina, we need a school in northern Saskatoon. Just how hard is it to get to that point?
It is. You know, it takes some time. It takes a lot of work with the school divisions, but also with the municipalities as well, trying to identify and predict as best you can what the not just what the current pressures are, but as you see them, what might be coming down the road for those communities and for us as a province in the years to come. So the ministry has a ranking system to try to identify those priorities. Again, we have limited dollars. We want to make sure that we're making those investments as quickly as we can, but it does take some time to identify the land for the schools, try to identify what the size needs to be. More often than not, there'll be a joint use school between the public division and the Catholic division trying to share resources. So it is a bit of a struggle, but I think we're making headway. We're positive about how that's looking.
Thank you so much for your time. Everett Hindley is the Minister of Education in Saskatchewan.
Thanks, Daryl.